Warriors! It's Coach JB, your top health and mindset coach in the world. Remember, what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it in your hand. Remember, what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. And I'm excited because this is a activity that happens every single week. So you expect CryptoCito to be here, and it's an exciting time. He's got a new background every single time. But what we're going to bring to you today, Warriors, is what is going on in the fantasy economics. We're just going to talk openly about what's going on. CryptoCito said he's been in the market for a long time, right? Now, I'm always honest with you guys. I got in a year and a half ago. I was on the dark side. I was a banker before until somebody walked into my office and asked me, have you heard of XRP? And that's when my whole journey started, when I went into the banking system. But now we got these fundamental cryptocurrencies, and now we got dogs running around everywhere, blowing up the crypto space. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Get CryptoCito's perspective on it. This stuff is going wild. That's why you don't hear me on my YouTube channel talking about stuff like that. And I'll tell you what, I've had companies approach me to pump their shit coins, excuse my language, their shit coins. You got to really think about that. So, I'm sure we'll just kind of let the conversation go where it may. But Warriors, you'll never see me coming on my YouTube channel and saying, buy Doge, buy this, buy that. Now, the reason why is because I'm a fundamental investor. Am I going to have I not got into some of these? Yes, absolutely. Putting small investments of a small part of my portfolio and being very cautious and understanding you could lose that money just like that. But the problem with this is what this is creating is very unhealthy trading behaviors. It's just like life. If you're undisciplined in life, right? If you're looking for a quick fix, guess what? You're going to get wrecked very quick. So CryptoCito, what's been going on in your life? Where are you at now? You got a new background again.
Yeah, man, I'm in Portugal right now. So I'm in Lisbon, and I'm going to be staying here for a while now. Not in this place right now, but in the city here. And man, I'm pleasantly surprised, man. I fell in love with the city. It's absolutely amazing here. The food is absolutely next level. If you're into seafood or fish, those kinds of things, man, Portugal, wine, man, the wine here is next level. Like if you're into those kind of things and enjoy, good food, which is what I do, that's the place, man. And the weather is getting nicer here. It's I love it. It's beautiful.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And one thing I was going to share with you guys, we get some funny people making comments. So I want to answer all these comments real quick. So like this guy brainwashed his fans, but think about it. We're going to talk about this really quick, Warriors. So somebody says that I brainwash people, but I want you to understand something, Warriors. I want you to hear something really quickly. Remember what's repeatedly said to you guys. We're going to talk about this narrative of dog coins, right? Everybody's like dog coins. It's predictive programming, but that's awesome, man. So Portugal, you talked about Portugal is a crypto-friendly area, right?
It's very crypto friendly, regulation wise, tax wise, and also a lot of people are just moving here. So I think Lisbon is evolving into this crypto hub here in Europe, and I'm meeting a lot of people, and friends are moving here. Also other content creators. So it's always good to be in that environment, right? Like I think that's the most important thing. No matter what business you're in, what industry you're in, what your passion is, like you have to surround yourself with people that are as passionate as you and as dedicated as you, right? Otherwise you're in the wrong environment. So I love to be that in that place, in that environment. And yeah, I'm looking forward for the next month, man. I mean, it's gonna be huge. So can't wait, for all the things that we're planning to do. So, and I hope to see you here as well, man. Now I'm 3 hours closer to the US, so it's only a 10-hour flight, I guess.
Yeah, my passport should be here very soon, man. We got a lot of traveling coming up. So we got doing some stuff in California. We'll be doing stuff in Las Vegas. And we'll be up in Sedona. I got to get out of the country, man. My passport should be here very soon. So I'm excited to head out there and meet you, man, and hang out. That's what's cool about the internet. We can connect like this. So let's jump right into it, man. First we had Dogecoin, right? Then we had SHIBA, and now we have, what are the name of these coins here? We got a couple other doggies popping up here. We got
SHIBA.
We got freaking Chihuahua, Rottweiler. So what is your opinion? So let me share with you, Warriors, really quickly on this. You're going to never hear me coming on pumping these coins. You never will hear me. Do I talk privately with my warriors, my Warrior Academy, about pump and dumps? Absolutely. We have private conversations about these. What we teach in the Warrior Academy is emotional discipline. And you and Selman, I was so grateful to you guys. Because of you guys, I built out a very not sick, that's wrong verbiage, that's weak language. An amazing, I was using my teenage language, an amazing exit strategy. Be careful with your words, warriors. That has helped me tremendously in the crypto space. And it's built this discipline around me that I'm going to do very well in the crypto space, no matter when it crashes. So share with me, what are your thoughts on these coins and what's happening within the marketplace?
Yeah, so in fact, I think meme coins, which is the category, right, with all those animals and all those kind of things, are basically proving, to me, right, to me, it seems that they're proving that finding money basically is a joke, right? that's kind of like my conclusion now. I came to that conclusion.
Oh, we lost you for a second there.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back.
I came to that conclusion just like 2 hours ago. But you know, like at the same time, I have kind of mixed feelings about this, you know, because obviously Elon Musk is very pro Doge, right? He's pumping the price, and he knows that, right? We've seen the Saturday Night Live, which he was hosting, and you know, he was making his jokes, making his fun about it. But a day later, he announced that he's going to launch the moon mission, right? And bring Doge literally to the moon, into space, right? So, and also that he made this poll asking whether Tesla should accept Doge, right? So it's kind of like serious, but also not, right? And I mean, I don't know, man. Like, Doge has been the best performing cryptocurrency of 2021, right? So congrats everybody who bought it early. You're probably rich now, but there's not much. Yeah, I mean, there's not much fundamental innovation behind it, right? Dogecoin, for example, if we start with that one, it's a fork of Litecoin, and Litecoin is a fork of Bitcoin, right?
Right.
It's mid-end a lot, and then I think in end 2019 has been the last major tech implementation, right? So on a technical level, Dogecoin is not breakthrough technology, but it's the meme, right? It's the meme that makes it so so viral, right? And you have the whole TikTok community going wild about it. You have Wall Street bets. I think a lot of people from Wall Street bets and that whole movement came over. And now you have the whole Elon fanboys, right? So they're all coming over now, and that's great. I mean, again, I'm all about, you know, decentralization, and everybody's free to buy whatever they want, right? I haven't bought it, sure. Now I would have been crazy rich probably, but I don't regret it. You know, I stick to my strategy, my strong fundamentals, and it's all fine. You know, I'm happy when others make money, but now I'm kind of seeing, and maybe we can get into this today a little bit. Like, I'm seeing a lot of red flags compiling, a lot of red flags from this whole meme coin thing, right? And suddenly you see random people that have never ever had anything to do with crypto or investing, right? They're suddenly talking now that, oh, this coin is going to the moon, right? And it's the future. And if it does go up the next day, they're like, oh, I told you so, right? And they're like, no, the experts. So I'm seeing a lot of things repeating from 2017, which kind of makes me a bit concerned about where we are in this cycle. And we've talked a lot about cycles on these Wednesday episodes, right? So yeah, kind of mixed feelings. I find the ideological point of Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, I find it cool. You know, it's basically open finance, right? That's the byproduct of giving everybody a voice, right? If we like it or not, but everybody's free to create and build and buy financial products if they want to, right? And that's what it enables. It's a borderless open banking system, basically, end of the day, that we're building. And so we have to live with the Shiba Inus, you know, and it's a cute meme, right? So why not?
So let me share with you. I love this, dude. So I want to share with you my narrative. And so somebody made a great comment. If you're going to get into these, I always tell my warriors, you're going to get into this. It's just like, imagine walking into a casino and putting $100 on a roulette table. That's exactly how you should look at it. Expect to lose your money. Do not put your freaking life savings in there. Don't go grab your kid's college fund. Like, be smart with this, because what you're talking about is building really poor investing behaviors. We're investing in the new infrastructure of the world. I have a little small percentage of my portfolio that's for stuff like this. If I'm going to choose to get into stuff like that, for example, I did get into Doge, and what I did was I closed out about 3 weeks ago. I went pretty parabolic. I closed out and I bought Ethereum, and then I got into SHIBA or whatever, and I doubled my profits, pulled my profits. I'm already house money, and I can just write. If it goes to zero, it doesn't matter. And so that's what I want to share with people. Like, here's the other side of it. What I think is happening, this is my narrative, okay? This is just me. But I think what this is going to do, it's going to usher in regulation, and the regulation is going to wipe out these type of cryptocurrencies. And what's going to happen is, here's my narrative, is that it's going to be the biggest bull run in history, right? It is one of the biggest bull runs in history. There's all this institutional adoption. There's all these new people coming to the space, right? Everybody's an expert now. I'll give you an example. I met with somebody, my breathing coach and stuff. He said he was at a wedding, right? And everybody was talking about the SHIBA coin. You got to get into SHIBA coin. You got to get into SHIBA coin. And he's looking at him, and he had gotten into the space about a couple months ago, and he's like, guys, what is it? And nobody could explain what it was. Nobody could explain what it. There's a group of like 30 guys talking about this, showing their investment. That's the problem, because what happens is they're going to come up, they're going to come crashing back down, lose their money, they're going to get a bad taste in their mouth, and then regulation is going to come in, and then in 2025, the real adoption is going to come for all the institutions. And so, because what we're seeing, I don't know if you guys saw my YouTube video this morning, I was breaking down the World Economic Forum's, they put out a new PDF. I read the whole PDF. Warriors, we are here. Banks, institutions are working to get on this DLT, the distributed ledger technology, as quick as possible, because they can't survive without it. So what are you seeing? Like, so for example, let's talk about this. Just so you guys know, I wasn't in crypto in 2017. That's why I surround myself with people like CryptoCito, people who understand it, Selman, and people who have knowledge around this stuff, so I can educate myself what it feels like. So what are you feeling right now?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I feel what you just basically explained brings it on the spot. You know, it's like everybody thinks to be the ultimate expert now, the crypto star investor, right? The next Warren Buffett. So whenever you see, you know, that kind of like narrative boiling up, you know, and we're still very early, right? It's just very, very selective, and just a few coins here and there, right? But it's getting more, and it's accelerating pretty fast. And so what happened in 2017, I think back then the analogy would be ICOs, right? So back then we only had ICOs and basically speculating on the coin price. Now we have many more narratives, right? We talked about NFTs in the past. We talked about DeFi, right? We had a lot of food coins in the DeFi space. Right. Now it is meme coins. But in fact, it's the same thing, right? It's the exact same thing. There's a bunch of, you know, insiders or people that are just very deep in the industry that are holding their long-term strong fundamentals, right? Like, which is what I'm trying to become now. I'm not like early in the space. I joined 2017, but I consider myself as a strong fundamental investor, and I'm planning to hold on, right? I'm not trying to chase those narratives, right? Sure, I also hold NFT projects. I also buy into some IDOs, coins, right, and those kind of things. But also, like you were just saying, just with a smaller percentage of my portfolio, right? So I'm not going all into that, right? Even though I like the products, I like the teams, I'm not going all in. And what I see right now is that people go all into things that, like you said, are not even able to explain, right? They're not even, like, they don't even know what GitHub is, right? They don't even know how to look up the source code on a public websites, right? And it's very easy to do. They don't even look at a chart. I made a video yesterday talking about SafeMoons, Shiba Inu, and Dogecoin. And I said, guys, please look at the chart before you buy this. Please look at the chart. Like, this thing is a straight line up, like a vertical line, right? Like, and if you buy that top of that line, you are not getting rich. You are making someone else rich, right? So you have to think about this. You don't buy a coin after it did a 500x, after it did even a 50x. You don't buy a coin because people already bought in before you, so they got rich with you, you know? Like, that's the core thing to understand. And the exact same thing happened in 2017 when we had those ICOs, you know? And back then, I think the quality of those ICOs was much lower than it is today. I think this time we have much more, you know, that these projects bring on the table. Of course, there's also probably 60, 70, maybe 80, 90% that are not going to survive. But back then, it was the exact same thing. A bunch of people, early investors or whatever, they hold most of the supply, they pump the project, and then the retail guys, they're making them rich, right? So we're seeing the same thing right now, especially with those meme coins, with this viral TikTok marketing as well. Like you were saying, they even called you up and offered you money to pump their coin, right, or their token. So that's kind of like the comparisons that I see and that I find a bit concerning. And I really encourage everybody, guys, I mean, you can have fun with those coins, right? It's also kind of like you're part of the revolution, right? Like these guys that bought the GameStop stock, they wanted to be part of the revolution, right? And that's all fine. But be aware that, like you said, it's a similar thing as going into casino, putting everything on black and hope for the best, right? But that's not a strong fundamental investment thesis, right? That's not a strong investment strategy. That's basically gamble. So I really encourage everybody to be more careful out there and not ape into random meme coins.
Yeah, let's talk about the SNL thing. I don't know if you watch it. So I'm not a big TV watcher, but I did watch SNL on purpose because what I was doing is I had a great time with it. So I was watching TikTok, top TikTokers that were talking about Dogecoin, and then I was watching SNL at the same time, and they're posting at the same time. They're like, Doge to the moon, Doge to the moon, Doge to the... And I'm looking at their posts. I'm like, there's nothing fundamental to any of their posts on TikTok. And then all of a sudden I see Doge, right when he starts making all these announcements or saying these things on SNL, it starts coming down, right? So I always tell my warriors, you buy the rumors, you sell the news. What weak investors do is they buy the news and they panic sell the rumors, right? And so that's the biggest thing about that. And I'm sure that's what you're talking about right now is that, people are like, I'm going to get into Dogecoin. I'm like, you're right. It's gone up, you're getting in when you're at the top of a wave. Like if you're looking at a wave, you don't want to get on with everybody riding the wave down. You want to get at the bottom of the wave and get out before it breaks, right?
Yeah, I mean, 100% agree. And I think, that one of the latest Doge run, right, which went up to 70, 75 cents, was like precisely that week before SNL, right?
Yes.
So that was like SNL priced in, right? And then a lot of people were just waiting for SNL to happen because then they were expecting the pump, right? But that's not how it goes, right?
Right.
It was already priced in, and most people bought the top, right? And some people sold the news, like you were saying. So that's why I think we saw this correction. And I was also thinking that Elon would kind of like disclose large plans for Dogecoin, but he just basically made a little bit fun about it, right? Based on the clips I saw, there was not too much fundamental things that were talked about Doge. It was more like an entertainment show, right? And that's what it is in the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people overhyped this, but that's classic in a bull run. I mean, that always happens.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because I mean my phone was we have 1,600 warriors worldwide, and there's people messaging. I have hundreds of messages on my Instagram. People like, "Are you buying Doge right now?" I said, "No, I just sold." Like this was the Thursday before it going into Friday. I'm like, "No, I sold. I sold my. I mean, I'm all house. So when I say house money warriors, like picture the way that in these type of non-fundamental cryptos. The way that I look at it is like you're going to the casino. Imagine you walk up to a roulette table and you throw $1,000 on red, right? You hit red and you get $2,000. What I immediately do with those types of coins is I take my initial investment, I take it out, and I actually put the capital gains money away, and then I put that money into a fundamental crypto. I usually buy Ethereum or ADA or CRO for me. And so I always pump those two back up, and then I just sit on that investment and let it ride. And then you're just watching it, having fun with it. If it crashes, great. If it goes up, and so that's the biggest thing. And I think the thing that I want to keep hammering down on is the lack of discipline that it's creating with people and the wrong emotion that it's creating with people. Because, somebody had brought up on one of my messages, like, oh, Warren Buffett doesn't jump in and out of cryptos, but also or jump out of investments, excuse me. But Warren Buffett is a long term. And also he's not getting these types of gains of 150, 300% on his portfolio within, 1 week. And so it's kind of a different. So when I say I'm a Warren Buffett style investor, what I mean is I understand the fundamentals, the leadership team. I watch the market and what the market's doing, not the charts. I watch what people are doing. For example, CRO. The reason why I'm heavily invested in CRO, it's one of my bigger holdings, is because I watched my mom, who still writes checks, kick ass on CRO. like easy to use. She's able to, she has questions, she can answer it's super easy to use. It comes up number one on when you type in crypto on the App Store. So that's just fundamentals. That's easy to use, right? They bought the website for $15 million from some guy. They have an awesome marketing team. They're linked up with Visa, things like that. Those are fundamental things. So what are some things that you're looking at in the marketplace? Like, what do you think about the market? Where do you think we're at in the bull cycle? Any sentiment on that?
Yeah, that's a great example, because I think that's also one of the core differences between 2017 and now is that back then none of these projects or platforms had any users, right? It was all like, oh, in the future maybe, right? But now we have Brave has 10 million users and they have their own cryptocurrency.
Right.
CRO, right? Crypto.com, like you were saying. Ethereum has grown so much, man. It's absolutely amazing. Now you see all these also competitive smart contract blockchains, smart contract platforms such as Cardano, right? Or even Algorand and Cosmos and Polkadot, right? They're also gaining more and more traction.
Right.
Parachains are launching on Polkadot anytime soon. It's supposed to be coming already weeks ago. They have delayed it, right? Which is also something that always happens in crypto. But the point is like, that's exactly what you're saying is correct, because, fundamentals are easy to figure out, right? Especially if you are a user, right?
Yeah.
And now you can use those products. You can play around with them. You don't have to chase pumps. You can literally front run the pumps by just using the products. It's as simple as that. So yeah, I mean, I have my my long-term holdings like Cosmos, Hedera, Hashgraph. Not much has changed on that. So yeah, I'm still bullish on them, beyond bullish actually. And since you also talked about CRO as one of your largest holdings, they actually just came out, I think 2 days ago, and they're building their DEX also on Cosmos, on the Cosmos SDK. They're implementing IBC, which makes it interoperable, right?
Wow.
So there's a lot of cool things that I see from my largest holdings actually, many of my projects that are just building, keep building. Don't they're just ignoring that noise. They're just ignoring that left and right shilling about random meme coins and those kind of things, and just keep improving the product and just rolling it out. And to be honest, I'm beyond bullish on Ethereum right now.
Yes, me too.
Because they're implementing EIP 1559, which basically makes Ethereum ultra scarce, right? So it is basically implementing a fee burning mechanism. So with every single transaction, ETH gets burned, right? Which obviously decreases the inflation of Ethereum or of ETH, the token, and makes it incredibly scarce. I think even more scarce than BTC, right? So not just DeFi is going to be interested in that, but also hedge funds, institutions, right? So that's something that I'm really excited about. Also, another major upgrade that is going to come on Uniswap. Uniswap, I think in the next few weeks, they're going to implement what's called optimistic rollups. And what it does is basically scale Uniswap by a factor of, I think, up to 1,000, right? So right now, if you want to buy whatever SafeMoon or Shiba Inu, you have to pay, I think, up to $200 in transaction fees, right?
Easy.
And optimistic rollups fix that. They're coming on Uniswap maybe even first. I'm not sure if Uniswap gets it first or ETH itself, but Ethereum is also going to implement that. So there's still a lot of fundamental bullish news, which make me think that, okay, this bull run is going to go on for, a little bit longer. But I have a hard time seeing that we're going to be, making it till November, December. I think it's more August, September. But yeah, it depends. But right now, everything is kind of like overheating.
Yeah.
We still have strong tech implementations coming up, especially on ETH, and also other chains. Not too much on Bitcoin, but yeah. So that's what I think right now about the whole space.
And I think something too that somebody just brought up Basel III. So I'm not sure if you're like I'm a banker guy, right? So Basel III, so Basel I, Basel II, Basel III are implemented, and I think it's America or is it worldwide? But anyways, in America, the 1, 2, and 3 were to help prevent financial crises, right? And so Basel III for banks in June, what Basel III is doing is it's moving gold from a tier 3 up to a tier 1. So it's basically saying it's less volatile so that they can back riskier assets. And so what another rule for banks too is banks can't have paper gold anymore. They have to have physical gold. And so what that's going to do, so what that told me, and I could be wrong, people can comment below and challenge me on this. That's what we're here to do, is learn and grow together. But what that means to me is that we're heading back towards a gold backed standard. And I believe it's going to be in a cryptocurrency way, because what that signaled to me is, how is a bank all of a sudden going to get all this physical gold? That's going to create demand, right? But if we went into a cryptocurrency, crypto backed type way, right, that would allow them to have this stable backing of the currency now, which would create an even playing field, create stability within our economic system. And then also, who would run that, right? I believe XRP. That's my opinion, right? So I'm an XRP guy. But share with me a little bit more about, if you're okay with it. I don't know. So my exit strategy, and this was because, you know, I met you and Salman, and I'm very grateful to you guys, as I built out an amazing exit strategy. So I had an exit strategy in my head, but I'll tell you what, having an exit plan in your head versus on paper is very different words. You can't just in your mind go, here's what I'm going to do. You have to have a game plan, right? And so I have this amazing spreadsheet that I have that literally, it's like I have price targets. So as the market starts going green, I look at my little cheat sheet and I'm like, okay, boom, Ethereum, I hit one of my first price targets. Now here's the thing about discipline, warriors, and I want to share with you guys. I hit my first price target, so I have quite a bit of Ethereum. So when I hit my first price target, I was like, man, I think it's going to keep going up. I'm just going to skip that price target. I'm like, no, you set a price target for your first exit point. You need to practice. And so I pulled 10% of 50% of my portfolio. But for me, I'm going into silver, and then based on your wise counsel, I'm staking DIA at 10% on crypto.com. And so what is your plan? Are you exiting the market? Are you staying in the market? Are you long-term, if you don't mind?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think right now is the best time to talk about this because of this whole euphoria, right?
Yeah.
And enthusiasm. So actually also 2 days ago, one price target got hit from my exit plan. So I also cashed out a little bit into USDC right now. And I don't want to move it because the transaction cost is just $200. I think $100 to just move it, which is completely nuts. So, but I actually want to put this to work for me. But I got it in stable coins. And I think over the next few weeks and probably months, as this whole alt season, gets wilder and wilder, I'm going to actually build up my stablecoin portfolio. So that's kind of like my plan, my next action step. So that's how I see it right now. Because if you look at the monthly charts of a lot of coins, right, we're already kind of like, we're flying already. So it's always wise to take profits and to also secure your bags, right? Secure your investment at least, right? That's the least you can do, is pull out your initial investment as quick as possible, right? And then you can play around with the safe moons, with the Shiba Inus and all that stuff. But if you pull that out as quick as possible, then you're on the safe side, right? And obviously never take any loans or any, debt or something like that. I think that's a given. So that's what I'm doing. But I still think at the same time, and that's also the best advice I think I can give here in this context, is always keep a moon bag, what we call, right? Always keep a moon bag, never sell everything, right? Don't go out 100%, because even in the very long run, right, it might pay off really, really big time, right? For example, let's just think, if you bought Ethereum at $893 in 2017, right, which was absolutely crazy, right? Because it started the year off with $20, $30, $40, $50 or something like that. So it went up more than like 15, 20x, right? So if you bought ETH at $893 in 2017, and you panic sold it at 400 something in the bear market, then you lost, right? If you sold everything. But if you just held on to it for years, right? 4 years later, suddenly it says $3,500, $4,000. So it always makes sense to like keep a little bit of your investment, not cash out everything, because in the long run, cryptocurrencies with strong fundamentals like ADA, BTC, ETH, right? They prove to be profitable in the longer run. So so that's also something maybe I could share here.
Yeah, and then also, so talk about so when you say going into stable coins, what to you is the difference between what's the difference between USDC and DIA? What would be the difference?
Yeah, so you have two kinds of stable coins basically. The first kind is asset-backed stable coins,
Okay.
right? That is what Tether is, right? USDT, and that is what USDC is, right? So those are basically two competitors for asset-backed stable coins, and Tether is a very questionable company, right? They have faked their reserves over the years, and there is massive lawsuit with a lawyer in New York. But apparently, it got settled a few weeks ago. So that's the official statement. I've read all through all the documentation, and it's kind of like wishy-washy. It's not 100% clear and proven. But it's obviously the largest and most successful stablecoin project in the world. And
Yeah.
the way it works, being an asset-backed stablecoin, is that every minted USDT that we have on the blockchain, and you have now USDT on Bitcoin blockchain previously, now you have it also mostly on ETH, but also Algorand, Tron, right? All these chains now you have USDT. But the promise is that every single USDT is backed by real dollars, right? In a vault, like real US dollars.
Okay.
And the thing is, if you're not 100% audited, right, and don't have 100% regulatory clarity, it's getting a bit questionable, right? And that's the whole issue that Tether had over the years.
Yeah.
And I actually think 2 days ago or yesterday, one of their main people behind, I think their Asia representative or something like that, he just went to jail, right? So they sent him to jail in China because of money laundering accusations.
Wow.
He was tied to Tether, right? So that's kind of like Tether and USDT, but still they're printing a lot, right? So apparently they still have a lot of demand. Then you have USDC, which is a newer stable coin. I think Tether already exists since 2014, 15, like
Okay.
a lot of years. And USDC is another asset-backed stable coin that is from mainly Circle and Coinbase, right? I think a third company. So they're kind of like governing USDC as a project. And Circle is, for those who don't know, is a company, a crypto startup basically, that has a lot of funding from Goldman Sachs, right? So you have more institutional grade players that are backing USDC.
Gotcha.
And they have more regulation. I think they're SEC registered and have all these kind of things. So that's, if I had a choice between those two, I would choose USDC, and I always do that. And then the counterpart to that is basically algorithmic stable coins, right? And that's what DAI, for example, is, or UST, and now you have different models, right? And what they do is basically fully decentralized, and they're just using smart contracts to maintain the value of $1, right? And you have to provide collateral, for example, ETH, right? Now you can also provide different coins as a collateral to back the value, right? But it's fully decentralized, and it's not backed by by US dollars or fiat.
Okay. I don't mean to, I want to ask you a question real quick, because that's a question I get all the time. I didn't mean to stop you there, but I wanted to jump in. So USDT, so the question I get all the time, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this is really important because people ask all the time in America, if the US dollar collapses, that's a risk with Tether and USDC, right? And then with DAIA, it's not connected to the US dollar. So that's why I surround myself with experts where I don't play everything. So I did not know that. So thank you. So share with me. So basically, Warriors in America, that's you gave me the wise counsel to do DAIA, and I didn't have the deep enough understanding. Now I know. That's why I love you, man. So DAIA is basically is decentralized, so it's not connected to the US. So there we go. That's why I'm in DAIA. Sorry.
Yeah, and DAIA is the product of the MakerDAO protocol, right? And MakerDAO is a Ethereum-based project that has been around for many years. They have a huge community. They have always been around in the top 30. They have the governance token, which is called MKR. And then they have DAI, which is the stablecoin, right? But they're both linked to each other. And the Maker community, or the main Maker governance council, so to say, which is basically Maker holders, they basically decide on the future of DAI, right? So which assets should be implemented as collateral, right? And one of the main implementations has, for example, being that you can now provide also other coins and tokens as collateral to back DAI, right? But like you were saying, it's not backed by USD. So it's just programmed in the way that it maintains the value of USD, but it's backed by cryptocurrencies, right? Which are
Got it.
volatile in the nature. And there's a lot of like, I'm not too deep into that. Like I'm just talking on top of my head. And
Great.
but it's basically designed in a way that, it always is around $1, worth $1. And I
Okay.
think it actually has. I think it never had any major pump or dump or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's that's DAI, and now you have more algorithmic stable coins that you can also embed into DeFi, and you can also farm other tokens or coins, right? So for example, UST, maybe you can look that up as well. Is a stable coin built on Terra, on the Terra blockchain, and Terra is built on a Cosmos SDK. So UST is basically a Cosmos ecosystem stable coin, and you can lock that up on Anchor, and you get 20% on a stable coin.
Wow.
Like, tell me one bank product where you get that collateral, that those returns, right, in ROI. So that's basically the main thing. And there's a lot of ways. Obviously, those rates also depend on the collateralization level, right? But it's programmed in a way that you're incentivized to provide collateral in UST to get ANC to stake that, right? So that's like the whole game theory in DeFi is so thoughtful that in the future, I think by the end of the year, we'll have so many options, what to do with our money without having the risk of volatility
Yes.
of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all these kind of things, right? And I'm really bullish on that, algorithmic stable coins, especially because the key difference between asset-backed stable coins and algorithmic stable coins is that you don't have counterparty risk on algorithmic ones, right? We have to trust Tether, we have to trust Circle and Coinbase, that they really back their coins, that they really also, maintain the value at $1. And suddenly, sometimes you have it that USDT pumps 7% or dumps 9%, right? So it's actually sometimes pretty volatile. So it really depends on the companies behind. But on DAI, there's no company behind, right? It's a decentralized protocol. So that's the key difference. And I think hopefully the future is also on those decentralized algorithmic stablecoins, So that's basically the stablecoin landscape.
No, that makes sense because my whole exit plan, and that's the universe and how I met you, man, because my whole exit plan is based up going away from the US dollar, right? So what people would ask me, and I'm just being honest, I couldn't answer it at that level. And so now I know. So I'm going to recap that just to check for understanding, right? So you got USDT, so that's attached. You got Tether, that's attached to the actual dollar. And then you got things like UST and DAIA, right? DAIA that are attached to decentralized, right? And so you got that. So that makes so much sense. So ironically, I ended up in the strategy that I was looking for is to be because I'm basically hedging against US dollar collapsing. Like I'm getting silver.
Yeah.
Now, DAIA goes into my strategy perfectly. And then I'm also going to, every time I get money, what I'm doing is, so for example, I'm going to be getting into renting luxury cars. That's what I'm going to be doing on Turo. And so it's, and also too, like I share with people like, well, capital gains, that's why I'm buying more companies, because within the first 3 years, if you have losses in your companies, you get a K1 back, right, off of that. So I would rather use the money I would spend in taxes to open up new companies that in the future would generate more revenue,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think there's a lot of ways to generate yield in a decentralized, trustless way through stablecoins, right? So you don't have volatility and you don't have counterparty risk. You do have contract risk, right? Because every single smart contract is basically a line of code, right? And a line of code that is written by a human being, right? And since we know historically, human beings are actually the biggest points of failure, right? So, that's the only risk you have. But
Yes.
DAI, UST, they've been around now for long enough, especially DAI, UST maybe not, but DAI, to be proven to be secure on a contract level, on a code level, right? And that's what counts.
That's awesome, man. It's interesting, but because I was talking, I'm really trying to hone in on people about how much banking is going to change by 2025. Like, I don't think people understand how much banking is going to change. I mean, in America, the banks are federally chartered banks are able to custody your cryptocurrency. They're literally like banks are going to, because I used to scale banks. I understand. Well, I went through school to scale banks. I worked at banks, right? And so I was an executive at a bank, and to understand what the blockchain or distributed ledger technology does to save the banks, to keep them in the game, is you can't even explain it to people, like, because banks are in a liquidity crisis. Number one, their access to capital is getting less and less because of the economy, right? But they have to lend to stay open. That's what they do. They make money off interest. And then another thing in America, which is crazy, Cryptocito, is that with our transaction accounts, to be clear, from what I interpret that, a transaction like a checking account, they have to hold 0% of your money on reserve. So if you came into my bank and you gave me $100, I can lend out 100% of your money. I don't have to keep any of your money on reserves now. So they're trying to keep this money machine going, right? So it's lending. But the reason why banks are freaking out is because we become the bank, decentralized finance. I actually helped someone get their first loan on Anchor stuck in my head. Oh my gosh, what's
Compound
it called?
or Aave?
It was Nexo.
Oh, okay.
So I actually helped someone. They were like, oh, and I'm like, I wouldn't take your crypto right now. So let's walk you through. They got a small little loan. I couldn't believe, from a banker perspective, how easy it was. Now I'm an ex-banker. How easy it was to get them a loan. There was no credit check. There was no like, they had their money in 3 days, and I was like, that's your money. Like, it's crazy. They didn't have to go sit in front of an underwriter. They got a good amount of money. So that's a really interesting, and banks know that. Banks know that's on its way. That's why they got the JPM coin now. That JP Morgan has their own infrastructure of a blockchain. So that's amazing, man.
Also, I think the concept of flash loans, maybe I really encourage you, since you're in that field and from banking, look into that, man. Flash loans are flash loans. Yeah. Like flash, like with A, not with U. Flash loans, because that enables you to really get more money instantly, right? Or with money, we talk about coins, right? Cryptocurrencies that have monetary value, but you get money instantly, and you can use it in DeFi, right? You can do so many things. So that's still very brand new and kind of like in early stages. But I think those kind of like sub niches and subcategories within crypto, because crypto is the whole thing, right? It's decentralized ledger technology, right? And then you have different technology stacks. Then you have NFTs. You have different industries. You have different even geographics, right? So everything is going to be affected from it. Yeah. And the deeper you go, the more exciting it gets, in my opinion. Because we're literally, like you're saying, building the Web3, building the next era of the internet, of finance, of central banks, of banking as a whole. And it's amazing. I love it.
Well, that's one thing too, because people always ask me, is it XRP? Is it XLM? Is it ADA? Is it Polkadot? I said it's all of it. Anything that's fun, it's all of it. Because if you think about it, some people have an iPhone, some people have a Samsung, some people live in an apartment, some people live in a house, some people, everything's different. People drive different cars. So there's think about the whole system that you live in an earth old paradigm has to switch into an air quantum paradigm, but it's going to be the same system, but a different quantum type system. And so I always tell people, some people have a Samsung, some people have an Apple, some people drive a Toyota, some people buy a BMW. You don't have one protocol that builds all the Samsungs, all the iPhones, right? You have an infrastructure on how to build a car, right? You need an engine, you need a trunk, you need all this stuff, right? Does that make sense? And it's like, there's going to be a different, and then there's going to be certain people, like I'm an XRP guy, right? You have your protocols that you're focused on, and it's about coming together as one ecosystem and building this community. So I want to hear a little bit more about what you're talk a little bit more about Portugal. What is that? I'm so intrigued by your life. You guys know, Cryptocito has traveled all over the world building crypto communities. So what does that look like? What does a day in your life look like building a crypto community or connecting with other crypto people?
Yeah, I mean, I just got here. I had a lot of meetings today. I'm actually very tired, but I have another session later also, like late night. So, I mean, I love that I have the freedom to, do whatever I want, and to choose also people that I want to work with.
Yes.
But I'm just so passionate about a lot of things that I'm just working a lot. So that's basically it. And a good friend of mine, he also moved here. Actually, two of them. One is coming on Saturday. So, we've just been, eating great over the past 3-4 days. And like I said, man, we had amazing, octopus and seafood, and it's absolutely next level. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I have a lot of calls, sitting a lot here in my, not sure if I can turn it around. You see, got my setup here.
Nice.
So that's kind of like my setup here. That's awesome. That's my room. you know, staying in a nice hotel here. But
Yeah.
as I'm moving here, I'm also, I have to like figure out all the bureaucratic stuff, getting an
Yeah.
apartment here, getting a tax ID, getting my residency here. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm committed to stay here. But yeah, connecting in the crypto space basically means being on the phone, having Zoom calls, and tweeting all day. So that's basically it.
Yeah, what we would like to do is, so we're big in vlogging, and like we've been vlogging our ice bath experience, because we're not just, so we're fitness, crypto, and mindset. And so what we're gonna start doing is we're gonna get our vlogging cameras, man, and we're gonna fly up and see you, man, and we're gonna start, like I think I have an idea for you, man, that I'll maybe present to you one off, but like us flying to different places and building, bringing people together, man, in the crypto spaces.
Yeah.
Freaking cool, man.
And I think the whole vlog format is also something that in crypto we could also do something, right? Because right now everyone's still learning about the technology, but I think as this industry matures, as people also figure out how things work and have gone through several cycles, I think also on the content creation side of things, you always have to be innovative and different, right?
Yes.
In 2017 there were 10 crypto YouTubers. Now
Right.
there's hundreds of them, right?
Yes.
So I also have to think about, ramping up my content, learning about editing, and, pushing out more content, talking to projects, maybe we can do something together. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things, and I also talked to my friend about this, and we have also this idea, to just travel the world and show how crypto is on ground, how people think about crypto on ground. I made this once, like in August last year. I walked through Istanbul, and we had a microphone, connected to the phone, and we just randomly asked people like, hey, what do you think about crypto? What do you think about Bitcoin? Do you own any? And just asked like 10, 15 people, and cut it all together, and it's a cool video, maybe those kinds of things. So I'm also thinking a lot about, what's the next step, what's coming. So
Right. And I feel like, so people don't realize, 7 billion people in the world. And I think one of the statistics says of like 60% of people still don't understand what cryptocurrency is, or even, I don't even know about it. Right. And so people are like, I'm too late. I'm like, you're early. Like you're really, really early to the space. It's such an immature market. Would you agree that we're very early?
Definitely, man. If you zoom out, right? If you zoom out, since the inception of Bitcoin in 2009, early 2009, right, when the coin started to trade, we're still early, man. Like the whole space is just evolving, right? Emerging. DeFi has been, DeFi really became big in summer of 2020, right? That's like less than a year ago. So we're so early, but on a micro scale, right? If you zoom in and you zoom, for example, the Shiba Inu price today, or Dogecoin, or even Bitcoin today, if you buy right now, you're buying the absolute top, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
in that micro space, you're not early. You would have been early a year ago, but if you zoom out, you are very early.
Yes.
If that makes sense. And speaking of which, actually breaking news right now, like literally right now, I just saw on Twitter popped up that Vitalik, Vitalik Buterin, the founder of Ethereum, he's starting to move his Shiba Inu, because the founder of Shiba Inu, whatever, he sent half of the supply to Vitalik, right? So Vitalik's address is public, and since Shiba is an ERC20 token, you can just send it to his address, and if he wants it or not, but he has it now, and he's just started to move them, right? So just keep an eye on that. It's all on chain. You can verify that, right? But he started to move it, right? And having 50% of the supply, and send that to a guy who couldn't probably care less, or I don't know what he's going to do with it, but if he sells that, like, I don't know, just keep an eye on that. It's actually already going down a lot right now, but yeah, man, just those are the things,
Yes.
Etherscan. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with etherscan.io, which is the explorer of the Ethereum blockchain, right? You can look everything up. Every single transaction that happens is obviously not linked to an ID. Some people put their names in and connect their Ether address to it, or domain. But you can look up every major transaction. You can look up every single token that is on Ethereum. How many holders does it have? Who are the largest holders? When do they transact, right? That's the beauty of blockchain, right? That's like, you can verify everything yourself. And if you're not even aware of those kind of things, that you can actually do that, like you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Those are the things that I think are fundamentals and are basics, and most people don't do that, right?
Right.
So that's why I think we're still very, very, very early.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's just a short rage.
Yes, yes. And we'll wrap it up with that. It's like, warriors, just be disciplined in the space, just understand the space, surround yourself with the right community. Like, we have a community, Crypto Seed. If you go to his YouTube, he has his own community, and we're building communities together. But the key is, warriors, just like the book Think and Grow Rich, mastermind. Get around people who have your best interest at heart, number one. Number two is always make sure, if you're investing, only invest what you can afford to lose, right? Understand the cryptocurrencies you're getting into. Don't bet your whole life savings and come rushing into cryptocurrency and not know what you're doing. Like, you have to know what you're doing. And I do want to continue to say I'm all about gratitude and say thank you to you and Selman just for the amazing things you guys have taught me in the short amount of time. And I'm telling you, the exit strategies, it changed my life. It literally, that one moment in time when I heard that exit strategy and diet, and that built out my whole protocol of hedging against the US dollar collapsing. And I've been very disciplined with it, and it's life-changing. It's been life-changing for me. So now, just to share with you guys, just to end this, is to be very clear, I only talk to my warriors about pump and dumps, like privately. We don't put it out on YouTube. I don't put it on TikTok. Now, what I tell my warriors, I'm very open. I say, like you said, I have I call it junk money, like money that I literally could just piss away. That's what I put into those types of coins. That's it. Like, it's not like I'm like, hey guys, I hope I'm going to get rich off this. I never go into it thinking I'm going to become a multi-millionaire. That'd be cool if it happened. But what I always do is I get my initial investment back first. So like SHIBA, if it's going down right now, I literally already doubled my money. I've already doubled my money. So if it goes up, great. If it crashes, nothing happens. So just emotional intelligence, discipline, warriors. So I appreciate you so much, man. Always such an honor. I know you got a very busy life. Yes, I love you very much, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I love you too, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yes. So what we'll do with Warriors, we're going to connect with him every Wednesday as he travels around. And eventually, I'm going to put it out to the universe right now. We'll be heading to Portugal, do some filming with Crypto Seed. Warriors, guys, let's go. Everything you need, description down below.